Susanna Nyerere may have been convinced that her husband's killers were locals, but many Tanzanians believe that the practice of albino killing is not their own, seeing it as a custom which has migrated from West African countries, and in particular, Nigeria. Here in one of Dar es Salaam's busiest streets, a DVD shop is selling hundreds of copies of Nigerian films which contain many scenes of witchcraft.
Umar, what do you want from our forefathers?
I want Basi, my sister's husband, to marry me.
Hold on. Say it here.
I want Basi, my sister's husband, to marry me.
Is that all?
Dr. Simon MESAKI is an anthropologist. He has spent his career studying the phenomena of witchcraft. He shares the view that the recent albino killings are not a native custom.
I'm 60 years old now, but previously I never heard about a deliberate killing of an albino. But also, I must point out that way back in 2001, there were several incidents of skinning of people's skins, which allegedly was being, transferred, all the way through Zambia, Democratic Republic of Congo, to Cameroon, and then eventually to Nigeria. Again, to be used, for juju or for witchcraft purposes.
Peter MTSEGWA is the head of the Witch Doctor Society in MWANZA. It is in this humble office where they process hundreds of application forms from people applying to become witch doctors. In a country in which healthcare is often the preserve of city dwellers, the use of witch doctors or traditional healers is considered acceptable, even by the government. And it is suggested by some that the very term witch doctor is a colonial one, reflecting the prejudices of the former British rulers.
Among a revival of half-forgotten tribal dances was a parade of snake doctors carrying 18-foot pythons, cobras, or the deadly green mambas.
In my terminology, I don't really use the word witch doctor because there's no witch doctor. There are witch experts, definitely. I think witch doctors came, with the colonialism, that is, the rulers then they call them witch doctor. But I don't see any witch doctor, in my vocabulary. I see experts in witchcraft, and traditional healers, which in Swahili we call them waganga.
Stephen Bamby is a traditional healer. In his modest pharmacy, he showed us his herbal remedies and insisted that magic plays no part in his treatment.
This medicine is for snake bites, poisonous snakes. No, don't fly elephants, or flying saucers, or anything of the sort. We just treat people according to the disease that they have, through treating them with natural medicine and mainly the roots.
But not all traditional healers are so innocent. Some have shifted towards witchcraft.
Kuna baadhi.
Among the members, there are few who have been involved in these inhuman activities. One of them had been accused of helping in a few killings. Once we found out, we cancelled his certification. We took him to the police and he's now in custody.
At first sight, the shabby office and poor facilities of this police station in MWANZA can come as a shock. And although the officers are working towards stopping the crimes, with their limited resources, it can seem an impossible task.
The number of police is not equal to the population of albino. We police, we are few to protect them, but we need the community to protect them. And they know those people who are involved in this killing. But all of that is tough. All of that is tough.
With the police facing such challenges, the case of albino murders is now being tackled at the highest level in Tanzania. President Mrisho Kikwete has brought attention to the killings in his speeches and asked the whole country to stand united. And in an attempt to reduce the stigma, in April 2008, he chose the country's first ever albino member of parliament.
After being appointed an MP, some didn't believe. They said, is it that albino lady who is an MP? Some come to congratulate, oh, I heard it, but I didn't believe. I think those people who were just giving names. Now they regret of it. They regret because they see that that lady now is an MP.
I congratulate the President for his decision. For us as albinos, it means a lot. This has shown the Tanzanian society that albinos are just like other human beings. They can hold any position in government, and they can do the same things that others do.
And yet, despite this significant appointment, organizations who are attempting to raise awareness still struggle to survive. Staff at the Albino Society in MWANZA exists on the bare minimum, with limited government support and no other significant means of finance. Their work involves visiting families with albino members to give them support or, at the very least, to provide company. The Smith family has 2 albino children.
I was shocked when I heard the news of having albino granddaughters. But later I sat down and realized that God does everything for a reason. Now there is no problem on all levels, from the family to the street to the whole neighborhood. Everybody likes the girls and likes to play with them around here.
But the killings haven't stopped, regardless of the efforts by the police and the government.
I am very afraid. I have a problem falling asleep at night. I am worried about the girls.
Albinos continue to fear for their lives in a country in which poverty, illiteracy, and traditional beliefs are all conspiring against their existence.
There are so many misfortunes in a third world country like Tanzania. People understand better if they will tell them, that, this is caused by witchcraft.
But this wasn't always the case. Tanzania won independence from Britain in the early 60s, led by Julius Nyerere, nicknamed the father of the nation. The country followed the fashion of the period by implementing a communist regime, one in which there would be no place for ancient beliefs.
He went about nationalizing big economic concerns in the country, firms, banks, and seeking to reduce the gap between the rich and the poor, and encouraging the notion that to be rich, we had to be rich together. That to be rich, you had to work. Being rich was not a matter of chance, was not a matter of luck, was not a matter of getting wealth in a manner which you couldn't explain.
But in the early 90s, the communist regime came to an end, meeting the same fate as many Eastern European countries, including the Soviet Union itself. The first democratic elections in Tanzania were held in 1995, and a free market economy was implemented. But since then, and despite the veneer of democracy, rumors of corruption and of increasing inequalities within society have become rife.
I think, in my estimation, the albino killing, ritualistic murders, cannot be seen in isolation. You have also got to connect them with this capitalist idea of wealth by luck, by lottery, by bingo games, by casino. I mean, casino capitalism. You wake up one morning poor, and then in the evening you are rich. And not because you worked hard, but because you are lucky.
Reminders of life's lottery are everywhere in Dar es Salaam. Modern office blocks, banks and commercial centres tower over a population dreaming of a chance to escape their lives of deprivation. This is a country with abundant natural resources, yet the majority of its people still live in poverty. And it is in this context that albino murders have surfaced.
The thing about Tanzania is that we are multi-ethnic. We have about 120 ethnic groups. We have we are multi-religious in the sense that a third of Tanzanians are Christians, a third are Muslims, and a third are said to be believers in traditional religion. So yes, it is an anomaly. It's a contradiction. That is why you have people who go to mosques and go to church and still, you know, go down to believe in, you know, in witchcraft.
Faced with this complex belief system, the authorities are not simply attempting to solve murder cases, they are endeavoring to change an entire ancient culture. And this will take time.
I know one day the killings will stop. I know God will help us. Because we are human beings, also we are praying. God will help us. The killings will stop because these people are innocent.